Welcome everybody to a new what if that I'm doing. This is my first fairy tale what if that I'll be ever doing. I'm not that good at it, I swear. I have to refresh my memory on some of the fairy tale events. Um, that means I have to watch the anime, so this series is gonna come out very slower than the other Deku series, because My Hero Academia I know, and I know the events that happen, but Fairy Tail, there's a lot of episodes, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of things that happen, and there's a lot of names to remember. But all the names you need to remember right now is Natsu, Elsa, Evie, Elsa, Evie and Elsa. Oh gosh, no. Let's not do that. Elsa, gosh, did I forget her name again? The girl with the girl with the doors. The keys, man. The keys, celestial keys. Lucy. There we go, Lucy. Lucy, and the pink flying thing is what is Happy. The pink flying thing is Happy, and I don't know the ice freak. I don't know his name. There's so many characters in Fairy Tail, you can't remember them all for the life of you. And I'm already struggling. Is it Gajil? Gajil, I guess. I'm just gonna call him Gajil for now. I'm probably wrong with this. Basically, to put you in perspective, these are the different characters. So you can stop, you can pause. I'll zoom into the four main characters that we need to know for now. So it's Natsu, Dragneel, Happy, Lucy. Yeah, Gajil. I was right, Gajil. His name is Gajil. Um, Elsa, it's Elsa. El. Yeah, Elsa. Oh gosh. Why am I thinking of Frozen now? The Guild Master, which I do not know how to pronounce his name. And her next to Elsa. Probably saying her name wrong. Probably. Statement, I don't know what the ship's going to be. I'm also introducing a new character that might be coming in other what if soon. It's just I need to show you how he looks like. Okay, he looks similar to this. It's just with the white hair. It's not white, it's blue hair. And he has blue eyes. And then he wears that entire setup. With actually inside his coat, or like basically on, how can I say it? One of the fender on his arm, there is a badge for the assassin symbol. And this is my own character that I've made. Specifically not for this what if, but for other what ifs in the future coming. I mean, I've created I've created entire roster of different anime characters, and I want to use some of them in some basically what ifs, like this one. As basically, you shall prefer to this character as Power Child for now. Yeah, it's an odd name, Power Child. Wait, what? What? Why Power Child? Because that's what he calls himself. He just calls himself that. I'm not gonna give you his real name. I'm not gonna give you his background story, because that's for another video, and that's not even gonna be a what if. It's just gonna be me talking about my own anime that I've created with friends. Yeah, but that won't be coming anytime soon. Trust me, it won't be coming anytime soon. So this is a split of basically he can hop through universes. So he can hop through any universe. This fairy tale that's taking place isn't the original timeline. This is a branched off timeline of something different happening. but all the same events are gonna still like be like happening. It's just someone did something different. As dragneel doesn't train, basically natsu, Powerchild does. As Powerchild is not a dragon king, he's a dragon god, because in the ends of my friend and I anime, basically our characters finally become gods. Actually, they were gods ever since. It's just, yeah, they were defeated by an evil god and then reincarnated into children or babies and then lost their memories. And then they came back older and stronger than they were before. They were even stronger than their original, like basically gods. They were stronger than their, like their basically the people that I can't explain it right now. They were stronger than, if they are the reincarnations, they were stronger than even the, like basically the, I can't explain it. You guys can just think of it like this way: if you are reborn and you are stronger than your past life, then yeah, that's how, that's the thing that's going on here. They were stronger than their past life. They got stronger than their past life. So, uh, this character, my character, has an unusual god power of creation itself. Basically, I don't want to explain the backstory, but I'll explain some of the lore. My character, or like there are two gods like that first existed before birth of universe. Obviously, basically the birth of the universe, which was destruction and creation, and the void. That's it. As basically you can most think of what happened with these two gods, and my character, or power child as you see here, is the reincarnation of creation, the god of creation, obviously. As Natsu is gonna be like taught Dragon Slayer magic. Oh my, sorry, I had to make the screen brighter. I don't know why it's so dumb. Um, Natsu's gonna be like taught Dragon Slayer magic. He's not just gonna be like basically be able to use Fire Dragon, because I am basically this character is a god. Like Natsu obviously will become a god, because that's how OP is gonna be getting. Natsu will be able to use not just Fire Dragon magic. He'll be able to use Lightning Dragon, basically the Iron Dragon's abilities, Lightning Dragon's abilities, and he's not stuck on one ability. He doesn't have a fire dragon element and then stuck to one roster of fire dragon elements. He can go creative with his fire dragon. He can shoot a literal fire dragon from his mouth. He can shoot multiple fireballs if he wants. He can use fire, like his flaming hands. Um, he can do it like a lot of things with like that he couldn't do in the original anime. So he can use his feet. He can basically like add like fighting styles to it to make it even better. Yeah, and he's not like limited just to fire dragon magic. He's like can also do lightning dragon magic, because he's not just doing dragon magic. He's doing dragon creation magic, which is even better because he's not limited to just fire dragon magic. Um, Natsu will be trying to hide most of his abilities because of the promise that he made to Power Child. Uh, he has to. He's gonna try to hide most of his abilities, but in a dire situation or a life or death situation, then like basically if he's angry, life or death situation, or if it's a competition, then he'll bring out his true power. but he won't show all his cards. Like, he won't show all his abilities. Deku will have like certain weapons that he can basically manifest, but like he will have certain weapons that he can manifest. He will be he will learn how to use weaponry, any type of weaponry he feels like picking up. So yeah, my character is going to teach Natsu a lot. As I would say, let's get to a story. Like, let's get to the story. Well, we're going to start off at Natsu, basically, like, not having. I don't know if Natsu have parents. Does Natsu have, like, parents? No, Natsu doesn't have parents. I don't know what happened to them. I'm stating. Yeah, I'm just gonna say that Natsu did not have parents. Basically, Natsu was basically like in the forest trying to survive, as he was starving, as basically he came up on this stranger. This stranger basically has a hoodie over his head, and he's covering his mouth with some type of mask. As basically is like, oh, and why are you in the forest? Young, he asks this young Natsu boy, as basically he says that something happened to his, like, basically he asks, like, where is Natsu's parents, as he says that he doesn't have parents, as he's like, ah, I see, as he closed this person closes his eyes as he gets into kind of a thinking position. As he opens his eyes again, so as he thinks, like he just thinks of something. I'm not gonna tell you what he's thinking of because that would ruin everything. Um, as he says this to Natsu, so you have any food? As Natsu says no. You have a house? Natsu says no. You have a place at least to spend the night? Natsu says no. As basically, like, he's just like wearing down what Natsu has and what he doesn't have. As you have money, as Natsu shakes his head again. As you have water, fresh water, as he shakes his head again. As he closes his eyes again, back to the thinking pose. As he smirks a bit, as basically he's like, okay, come and make a deal with you, kid. As basically Natsu asks, what deal? As he says, you can come with me on my journeys. You can come with me on my journey, and I will feed you, give you fresh clothes, wash you, give you water, and basically treat you like my own son. But there's a catch, as he says there's a catch, as Natsu's like, what's the catch? If I'm going to feed you and stuff, I want you to train under me. As he looks at Natsu, as Natsu says, what will I be learning? As basically he's like, oh, nothing, just dragon magic. As he makes a small flame on his finger, as Natsu's like, whoa. As basically he says, you interested? As Natsu shakes his head. As basically he's like, good. As like, now basically he takes Natsu to I can say, hotel, where he basically buffs Natsu and everything. As he says, your training will begin tomorrow. And like I said, there's no slacking off. If you want to learn this type of magic that I can use, then you're gonna have to train yourself to the bone. As basically he gets a serious face and says to the bone. As that sends shivers down Natsu's spine. As basically he's like, now go to sleep now. We'll start tomorrow morning. Early morning. As basically the man walks out of the room. As like before the man walks out of the room, Natsu's like, wait, I didn't get your name. As basically he looks at Natsu, He's still looking at the door as he kind of like turns his head towards Natsu. As he's like, you can call me Power Child for now. As basically he looks at Natsu. As Natsu smiles and says, okay. As basically he smiles as well and walks out of the room to let Natsu sleep. As Natsu sleeps, the next morning, it's basically Natsu's training. Well, I'll explain what Natsu's doing. He's doing strength training right now. Uh, his teacher, which is Power Child, my character, has strapped like basically has strapped some sort of paper to on like Natsu's basically legs and arms that made it way more harder to like move. It's like Natsu was like holding like weights, as basically like Power Child says, "Come on, Natsu, I told you the catch. I'll feed you, give you water, and give you anything you want if you just train. You can't slack off now." As Natsu's like basically says, right, as Natsu, this is like basically while Natsu's training, my character is giving Natsu like supporting words, as he's just watching Natsu grow slowly, and I'm gonna say taught like he's taught Natsu strength. He's taught like strength training. He's done with Natsu. He's taught Natsu how to use weaponry, any weaponry, ranging from scythes, knives, poles, sticks, basically axe, a basically assassin blades to long range weaponry too. As he's teaching Natsu now dragons like style. As he doesn't teach Natsu any dragon style. He teaches Natsu creation like dragon creation first. As dragon creation is much more harder to master than a lot of the dragon styles. As basically he's watching how Natsu trains. As Natsu manifests this white light, as he's like, good, now manifest the opposite light. Now manifest darkness. As basically, like, creation comes with the territory of light and dark. Uh, it comes with the territory, so if you mastered, like, basically creating light itself, then you can easily, like, create dark. As think of it like, oh gosh, what should I say? Think of it like the yin and yang release he's trying to learn. Basically, he's trying to learn yin and yang release, or light and dark release. He's trying to learn, which is basically he's trying to learn the jutsu creation of all things, but it's more in Dragon Slayer form. So Natsu like learns it. He's able to make like knives, leaves. Like first, he's able to make leaves on his first try. Then his second try is able to make kunai, like knives, not kunai, knives. His like third try is able to make like bigger things and bigger things. As basically now Natsu has to learn how to change his Dragon Slayer magic. With his Dragon Creation magic, he can basically use any Dragon Slayer magic he feels like, as long as he's basically able to train it, as Natsu is training in how to use Fire Dragon magic. The first basically Fire Dragon magic. As Natsu learns it in, say now, let's say 3 months, he gets it down. As Natsu's only learning like moves that Power Child shows him to learn. As basically he tells Natsu, Natsu, do you know you're not limited to, you know you don't need to use the moves that I use. As Natsu's like, but why? Aren't they strong? Yeah, they're strong, as Power Child says, but your imagination can be one of the strongest weapons you have, Natsu. Come on, think out of the box. As he's like, think out of the box. What do you want your flames to shape? How do you want to use your flames? And how do you want to fight with it? As basically, like Power Child's been teaching Natsu how to shoot fireballs, use fire projectiles. He's not been like basically he's now telling Natsu to think of his own fire dragon moves, as basically Natsu thinks, as Natsu basically holds up his hand and makes a fist, as he cocks his fist back, as it ignites in fire. As while my character's watching, as he smirks a bit, as he's like, "That's the way, Natsu." As Natsu does his fire dragon fist, as basically like hits a wooden, like you can say wooden pole, as he go like the fist goes right through it, as basically he's like, that's the way, Natsu. Well, if you're gonna use it in that way, we have to train your strength a bit more. As Natsu's like, right. As like Natsu has only learned fire dragon magic, and he's starting to learn lightning dragon magic. But that like, but then there is a day where my character told Natsu something. As they were sitting around the campfire, but like busy eating, as Power Child tells Natsu, "So, Natsu," as Natsu looks at basically Power Child, and he's still a kid by the way, as Power Child says, "What will you do if I disappear?" Suddenly. As Natsu like thinks about this, as basically Natsu says that he'll find him. Even like there's no way that he can run, he'll find him. As basically my character says, "No, like if you can never see me again." As Natsu says that he'll be sad. As basically instead of like keeping the secret that he's gonna disappear one day, he literally tells Natsu, he tells him out straight, "Natsu, one day I'm not gonna be here for you." As he says this, as Natsu's like, "What?" As Poucha continues like, "Let me continue. One day you're gonna have to fend for yourself in this world. And you're gonna have to learn and train on your own. But it's not like I'm gonna leave you behind, Natsu." As he looks at Natsu, as Natsu kind of looks sad, but he's still listening to what his sensei has to say. As Paojiao says, "Natsu, how can I say this? One day I'm gonna have to go. One day I'm gonna have to go back to my home." As basically Paojiao says this, as Natsu's like, "Why? Why didn't you stay with me?" As basically Paojiao's like, "I would love to, but there was more to see. I would love to, but I have other people back home that also is waiting for me." As he smiles at Natsu, as basically Natsu asking, "Take me with you." As Powerchild says, "I can't." Why? Because the place I'm going, you would likely die. But, Natsu, that doesn't mean I'll leave you alone here. When I leave, Natsu, I'm gonna leave a part of my power here with you. You won't realize it until you access that power. But through this power, I'll always watch you every step of the way." As he says this, while continue eating obviously, as Natsu's like watching him as he's listening, as basically he says, as he continues saying that when I am gone, you need to make a name for yourself here. Join the guild and make a name for yourself here. Make your guild strong. Because you are strong. Because I know you're strong, Natsu. You're probably stronger than a lot of people in this world right now." As he looks at Natsu, as basically he tells Natsu that don't. Basically, Natsu's crying. As Baojiao looks at Natsu, it's like, "Hey, hey, don't cry." It's like, it's not like you're not gonna see me again. It's like you will, but that would be a long time. As basically Natsu's like, then like As Power Child tells Natsu, when you get older, then you'll see me again. As basically because Natsu asks when will he see his mouth or his fatherly figure, what he sees as a fatherly figure again. As Power Child says, when you get older and you finally get put to rest, then you'll see me again. And then you can tell me about all the adventures you had with your guild and friends. Hmm? Doesn't that sound like a deal? As basically he looks at Natsu while smirking. As Natsu wipes his tears, as he's like, yeah. As basically, my character warns Natsu when that day comes. As my character warns Natsu not to use his entire power. As Natsu asks why, as basically my character says, it's better to keep some abilities secret so you can catch the enemy off surprise when you use it later. Don't you think? I mean, if the enemies know what abilities you can use and what basically magic spells you can use, they're easily going to defeat you. But if they don't know your entire abilities, you can catch them off guard with another one that you've never used before. As Natsu's thinking of this, as he's like, yeah. As basically Natsu says, I'll do that. As basically he smirks again. As I'm gonna say a few days, as Power Child has to leave now. As basically Natsu like wakes up as he sees his master, like, or his father, basically Power Child. Like basically he can't move, but he sees Power Child like on over top of him. As Power Child like made some type of, how can I say it, ritual in a way. As he's basically Natsu's like, wait, what are you? As he basically is like, what are you doing, Ma? What are you doing? Basically, Natsu calls, instead of dad, he calls my character Sensei. What are you doing, Sensei? As basically, like my character Power Child's like, shh. Well, that day is Natsu. This day has come. It's time for me to leave. As he tells Natsu, as you won't be able to move for a while. Well, while I do this process, it's going to be a bit painful. As a seal glows on my character's neck, as you see a small shattered soul or a shattered heart over my character's chest. As I'm like, as I say one word, as I start chanting power flux, transfer, 3%, as the circle starts glowing, as I have a symbol. I'm basically in a hand sign. I did a hand sign for the seal to activate. My character also knows ninjutsu. He can hop through dimensions, so obviously he's gonna know ninjutsu. As basically it's like something on his neck starts, like Natsu's neck starts glowing. As this starts creating tattoos over Natsu's body. But the tattoos like quickly disappear afterwards once they're done. As basically Power Shell says, there we go, that wasn't so bad, right Natsu? As Natsu like shakes his head in pain because he's still feeling the pain of it. As Natsu's like, as Power Child, or my character, Power Child, picks Natsu up and starts carrying Natsu to a certain location. I'm also going to say that Natsu also knows teleportation, but not long distance teleportation. He can only teleport to like, he can teleport objects to him and he can teleport towards objects. But they're either going to, if it's teleporting an object to him, that will be long range. That means the object can be in another city and you'll be able to teleport it to him. Teleporting towards an object is a short range ability. So you can only like do it say now like across the street. That's how far you can teleport. Just him walking across the street is how far you can teleport. As basically like Natsu is like in pain still, while my character's carrying him. As my character carries him to a certain like forest that is near a city, and like in like near the like basically near where the fairy tale guild, basically it's like near this forest is near the town where the fairy tale guild is. As the guild master is walking through this forest, as basically I lay like my character lays Natsu down, as he says, "Okay, it's time for me to go, Natsu." As basically Natsu's like, "Don't leave, Sensei." As basically my character's like, "Hey, hey, hey! Didn't I tell you? I'm not leaving you. I'm always watching." As basically he says, "I'm always gonna be watching you." As a portal opens up behind my character, as this girl with black hair, as she has wolf ears and a wolf tail, walks through the portal, as basically she's giving off an ominous dark basically aura, as basically like my character turns his head towards this girl, as basically my character's like, "Yes, yes, yes, come in, sister," as he says that, as basically he looks at Natsu again and is like, "Don't worry, I said you're gonna make your name in this world. I know it. And when you get older and finally get put to rest, whether it be in battle or old age, you can tell me all the adventures you had." As he smiles a bit, as Natsu like basically watches how Natsu can't move because he's in so much pain. As he watches how Power Child stands up and walks away. As basically Power Child looks back at Natsu before he walks through the portal and says, "I'll see you. I hope not soon, but I'll see you. And I'll be waiting for all the stories you tell me." As he walks through the portal, as it closes, as Natsu finally passed out of pain, because of pain. And that was it for the first part of what if I trained Natsu from Fairy Tail. What if I trained Natsu from Fairy Tail? That's the first part. I hope you like the two characters I added. I mean, there's one girl that now you know of my personal anime that I've made, and now you also know one of my main characters that I've like in that I've also basically used in this what if as their brother and sister. Yes, they have an interesting relationship, an interesting one. But I'm gonna cut it there, and I'm not gonna go on. This is just gonna be a shorter what if. Um, then basically a longer one. Natsu's gonna be pretty powerful because Natsu can use any Dragon Slayer magic. He feels like, as Natsu is also gonna be basically he's also trained in like using weaponry. So Natsu's gonna be able to use weaponry. As I'm gonna give a quick like brief summary on Natsu's weapons. Natsu will have two knives like this, which is Dawn in Dust, which was given by Power. Like this is a gift on Natsu's birthday. Power Child doesn't know when Natsu was born, so he gives the basically he like, gives Natsu a birthday on when he found Natsu. Basically, so now like the first gift Power Child gave Natsu was these knives. The second gift he gave Natsu is a stick. It looks like a stick. It looks like a pole, but this pole is way different because it's a scythe, and it also has a long long kunai attached to the end of one of the sides of the poles. But right now it's reeled in so you can't like see the wire. As Natsu uses his basically magic, whether it be Dragon Slayer fire magic, Dragon Slayer lightning magic, to basically make the this is the extinction of the knives that I showed you. So basically his knives can basically turn basically like this, as they can look like this, basically, as he can swing the stuff around, he can throw these chains like everywhere, basically like Scorpion. He can use it like Scorpion. As Natsu has two swords, he's a dual wielder. Natsu has two swords, as this is the first sword, as the second sword is, yeah, this, which Natsu can call, basically Natsu can summon these weapons using his creation, dragon creation, but because he had the weapons, he just like dematerialized it. That means he basically can summon it, but he doesn't use his weapons until it's basically absolute necessary, because these weapons are powerful. Yeah, and these are the current good guilds and dark guilds that are out there, just stating, and here's the rest of some guilds that are out there now. Like, these are all the guilds Natsu, Luffy, and the others might be facing, so yeah. And a quick review of Fairy Tail. Now that my explanation is done, and a lot of things is going to be going on in this like Fairy Tail universe. I mean, this Fairy Tales universe is connected to another, like my, basically a side of my anime that will not be named. I will not name it. I will not tell you about it until I reach my goal, which is 100 subscribers. That's the goal. 100 subscribers, and then I might send out the first episode of basically my anime, in a way, and tell you how the story goes. And what is the, basically, why did my character help Natsu in this universe? Remember, this is a split universe from the original, from the original canon universe. This is a split universe. So that means someone did something different, but all the events are going to happen the same as canon. So, yeah, nothing like this is just like a copy and paste universe that exists. Now, continue. Now, I'm gonna stop it here because, as you can see, my battery life, and I said this is gonna be a shorter what if. So, oh yeah, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And like I said, 100 subscribers, then I might release the first episode of my anime that me and my friends has made. 100 subscribers, by the way. Now I'll release the first episode. So I'm gonna stop it there, guys. Until next time, bye.